Hi everyone. In this video, we'll be learning a little bit about time zones. We know that the Earth rotates or spins on its axis, and sometimes it is facing the sun when it is daytime, and it keeps rotating or spinning until it moves away from the sun and we experience nighttime. Throughout the Earth, there are 24 time zones. There are 24 hours in a day, so there are 24 time zones in the world. Each time zone is 1 hour. A time zone is an area with the same time. More specifically, it's an area of longitude with the same time. Each time zone is 1 hour, and time zones line up with lines of longitude. Each time zone is 15 degrees wide, so 15 degrees of longitude makes up each time zone. The way that we can learn to tell time with time zones when looking at the globe or the Earth as a whole is with the trick wheel. W-E-E-L, wheel, which stands for west early, east late. So what this means is that as you move west, the times get earlier, and as you move east, the times get later. Let's look at this example. First, I have a map. Okay, it shows the United States, and it seems like it shows 4 time zones. If I look at the top, I can see it's 75 degrees west longitude, 90 degrees west longitude, 105 degrees west longitude, and 120 degrees west longitude. The gray area is 1 time zone, then it turns to white for a new time zone, gray again, and white. So the changes in color show different time zones. Let's think about which way is west and which way is east. The trick to remember our directions is to think never north, eat soggy waffles. So when I'm looking at that map, here I know that this side of the map is east, and the other side over here is west. So, as I can see, let's say I start here in Dallas, Texas. Let's start in the middle of the country here in Dallas, Texas. Okay, so if I'm in Dallas, Texas, and it is 8 a.m., if I move west of Dallas, remember the wheel stands for west early. So if I move west, which is this way, and I end up in Denver, I am going earlier by 1 hour. So if it's 8 a.m. in Dallas, I move west to 1 time zone, it would then be 7 a.m. West early. If I move back again to another time zone, to the white again, it would be another hour earlier, 6 a.m. What if I'm in Dallas and instead I want to go east? So if I'm in Dallas here and I move, it is 8 a.m. and I move east, remember east late, the time would get later. So if it's 8 a.m. in Dallas and I move east to New York City, it gets to be 1 hour later. It is 9 a.m. in New York City if it is 8 a.m. in Dallas. This is important. If a place is 1 time zone to the west, you should subtract 1 hour, west early. If a place is 1 time zone to the east, you should add 1 hour, east late. You're getting later, you add hours. West early, you're getting earlier, you subtract hours. Draw this picture in your notes so that you can remember the directions that go with west early, east late. east late. If a city is towards the east, the time will get later. If a city or place is to the west, the time would get earlier. Let's do an example. Here we have the map of the United States with 4 time zones. If the time in New York City is 11 p.m., what time would it be in Dallas, Denver, and San Francisco? Let's start here. In New York City, it is 11 p.m. That's 11 at night. p.m. is at night. If I need to figure out the time in Dallas, I'm moving from New York City to Dallas. I'm moving towards the west. Remember, west, early. If I'm getting earlier, I need to subtract 1 hour. So if it's 11 p.m. in New York City, it would be 10 p.m. in Dallas, Texas. If I'm in Dallas, if I move over 1 more time zone to this gray area in Denver here, I'm going to subtract 1 more hour. So 11 in New York City, 10 p.m. in Dallas. In Denver, it would be 9 p.m. If I move over 1 more hour to San Francisco, 1 more time zone, I'm subtracting 1 more hour, it would be 8 p.m. in San Francisco. West early. As you move west, the times get earlier and earlier. Let's try another example. This problem says if it is 4 a.m. in San Francisco, what time would it be in? So let's start in San Francisco. If I look here, San Francisco is on the west side of my map. Here I am in San Francisco. I'm going to write on my map 4 a.m. a.m. is in the morning, right? Early in the morning. This is the west side of the country. The opposite side is the east side. So if I'm moving from San Francisco to Denver, I'm going towards the east. Remember, west early, east late. So I'm getting later in the day. I should add hours. So I'm moving 1 time zone over from 4 a.m. Here in Denver, it would be 5 a.m. If I continue moving east to Dallas, I'm still going east. I'm getting later, east late. It would be 1 hour later, 6 a.m. And if I'm going even farther east to New York City, again, it's getting 1 hour later. In New York City, it would be 7 a.m. So moving from San Francisco at 4 a.m., 1 hour later to Denver, it would be 5 a.m. 1 hour later than that in Dallas would be 6 a.m. And 1 hour later to New York City would be 7 a.m.